Hey folks, welcome back to Shutter the Dark Shorts. It's James here. Hope you all are hanging in there, wherever you are and whatever this week has dished out. Today we're diving into something that's really personal for me, and honestly, I think for so many out there. Healing, and not just the beautiful dramatic kind you hear about, but also the kind that just doesn't seem to happen the way you want it. I want to start where Chuck Swindoll takes us, looking straight at James 5. You know, you've probably heard folks whip out that passage. The prayer of faith will make the sick person well. It sounds so straightforward, right? But Swindoll really points out that biblical healing, it isn't this ironclad guarantee. Sometimes God breaks in supernaturally. Sometimes it's medicine, rest, doctors, or just that slow, stubborn march of time. And sometimes the healing is inside, not outside. I remember as a 19-year-old kid, lungs full of cancer, full of fear, I'd go to James 5 and read it. I prayed with my family sometimes. All I got was peace. Now, don't get me wrong, we've all heard of people who get that miracle and walk out of the hospital. But sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. And that's where faith gets real. Not just believing God can, but trusting Him when He doesn't. Prayer brought me strength in the middle of chemo, not an escape route. I'm saying sometimes the bigger miracle is just keeping your heart from getting hard, you know? I might be rambling, but the reality is God's at work even when the sickness doesn't budge. Where was I going with this? Oh, right, He's not boxed in, and neither are we, even when answers look different than our hopes. So, building on that, there's another side to this whole healing thing, and Joseph Prince nails it. Grace. Real, living, right here and now grace. He goes deep into Isaiah 53:5, by His wounds we are healed. Prince unpacks how grace, the kind only Jesus brings, gives us something to hang on to when the body just will not cooperate. And man, for anyone going through a long-term condition, the gospel of grace isn't just a nice thought. It kind of becomes, well, I'm not sure how else to say it, the difference between drowning and keeping your head above water. I remember clear as day, the second time cancer came knocking, and I'd just turned 21. Everything hit at once. The fear, the why me, that hopelessness that tends to sneak in on you in the middle of the night. I was so tired of feeling sick, tired of feeling tired. But hanging on to that truth, Christ's sacrifice is enough, even when my body was falling apart, it was like the anchor that stopped me from drifting away. I'd remind myself, if His grace covers sin, it's gotta cover my weakness, my illness, the days I can't do a thing but just breathe. And as we've talked about in other episodes, gratitude in the storm shifts your focus. But it's this grace that lets you even see the storm differently. So yeah, healing's a journey, and grace is what lets you face the days it doesn't arrive when or how you want. Now, if you're still with me, here's the hard truth that John Piper talks about. You don't want to waste your sickness. Let that land for a second. Illness, in all its mess and pain, actually becomes a chance to showcase God, His power, His presence, His plan, even if we don't understand any of it while we're in the middle of it all. Piper's got this way of flipping the script. Don't waste your cancer. And, at first, that sounds rough. I mean, why not just make it go away? But the reality is, when you walk through it with God, you find this strange ability to glorify Him right there in the fire. Alistair Begg takes it back to Psalm 23, the valley of the shadow of death. He says something that's stuck with me ever since. God isn't just on the mountaintops. He's in the valley, right beside you. Not running ahead, not shouting advice from a distance, but right in it with you. I tell you, there's a different kind of peace that shows up when you finally quit fighting to control everything and just let go. Let God carry what you can't. I'll be honest, surrender is never easy for me. I like to plan, to fix, but when I hit those walls and had no choice but to trust, that's where I found the comfort the Bible keeps promising. The peace in the valley doesn't make the valley disappear, but it does make it a place you actually walk through, not get stuck in. Anyway, that's the heartbeat of today's episode: healing, grace, trust. Thanks for hanging out for these few minutes. There's always more to talk about when it comes to hope and faith, so we'll do this again soon. Until next time, don't give up and don't walk alone.